This 16-year-old boy left his father's farm for Detroit. In an era when the only means of transportation were horse carriages or trains, and automobiles were racing machines for the rich, he would, in just 35 years, build the world's biggest car brand. Half of all the cars on Earth carried its name, holding 5% of the total world's automobile industry. That boy became Henry Ford, who might come to be one of the wealthiest men in American history. This is his story. Henry Ford was born on July 30th, 1863, on his father's farm in Greenfield Township, Wayne County, what is now Dearborn, Michigan. His father, William Ford, owned the farm where the family lived and worked. The eldest of 6 children, Henry was expected to take over the family business. However, he was not interested in farming. Farming was labor-intensive, slow, and rigid, and Henry hated the concept of spending long hours on a farm for just a little money. "I never had any particular love for the farm. It was the mother on the farm I loved," Henry Ford once said. Like many kids his age, Henry didn't enjoy school and never made it past the 8th grade. He loved to learn things on his own terms and became fascinated with technology at a young age. This curiosity enabled him to learn about different kinds of machines. On his 12th birthday, Henry's father gifted him a pocket watch. Curious to know how it worked, he took it apart and put it back together, impressing friends and family with his skills in a matter of minutes. He later gained a reputation as a clock repairman in his community. Henry found his passion at the age of 13 during a school trip to one of the Detroit companies, where he saw a steam engine working for the first time. With his interest in and knowledge of machines, he built his first steam engine just 2 years later. But his life turned upside down when Henry lost his mother, Mary Ford, to a sudden illness. Her death saddened him and gave him a reason to leave the farm. He left the farm at age 16, despite his father's wishes, for Detroit, a city of rapidly growing industry and machines. Upon arriving in Detroit, Henry wasted no time and joined Michigan Car Company Works, a streetcar manufacturer, but was laid off after only 6 days. Unemployed, he started searching for a new job and found work at James Flower and Brothers Machine Shop, earning just $2.60 a week. To make ends meet, Henry worked as a jeweler, mending and repairing watches during the nights for $3 a week. Despite his tight schedule, he continued to study and test machines in his spare time. In 1882, Henry returned home to Michigan at 19. Still hating farming, he did little work on the farm, instead spending his time understanding and learning more about machines. His father had purchased a portable steam engine, which Henry mastered. A neighbor paid him $3 to operate his steam engine, and word of Henry's talent spread. This reputation reached the Westinghouse Engine Company, who hired him to set up and service steam tractor engines throughout southern Michigan. After 2 years, Henry met his life partner, Clara Jane Bryant, at a New Year's Eve party. They got engaged the following year. Henry's father gifted him 40 acres of land as a wedding present. Henry, with different plans, moved to Detroit. It was a time when gas engines were making headlines in the newspaper. The gas engine, designed by the German engineer Nicholas Otto, was more efficient and required less than 30 minutes to start compared to a steam engine. Henry started working at Edison Illuminating Company as an engine repairer for $40 per month, but he still spent his spare time studying electricity. In 1893, Henry and Clara welcomed their first and only child, Edsel Bryant Ford. Soon after, Henry was promoted to chief engineer at $100 a week. That same year, Henry built his first working gas engine, an important step toward his dream of creating a horseless carriage. At 4 a.m. on June 4, 1896, Henry completed his first test ride of the quadricycle, marking one of the significant moments in automotive industry. It was a crude machine powered by a gasoline engine. Despite its success, it had 2 gears, no rear end, and no cooling system, leaving it prone to overheating. By adding a cooling system and making different changes, Henry sold it for $200 to fund his next big innovation. With the cooperation of the mayor of Detroit, Henry built his second experimental car in 3 years. This car was big and strong. During a test drive, a wealthy lumber merchant named William Murphy was so impressed that he wanted to invest in Henry's venture. Thus, the Detroit Automobile Company was born on August 5th, 1899. But a year later, the company went out of business for many reasons. Some major reasons were shareholders forcing Henry to build passenger cars, which conflicted with Henry's idea of improving the car. Furthermore, parts came in from various vendors, resulting in production backups. The first vehicle to roll out of the factory was a delivery wagon, but only 20 were built over the course of 2 years, as each one took 6 months to complete. Despite this, Henry remained hopeful, saying, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again more intelligently." Henry Ford turned to car racing to showcase his designs. His redesigned racing car, which was producing 26 horsepower, defeated Cleveland automaker Alexander Winton in a dramatic race later that year, creating a buzz around Henry Ford. This success helped him to attract attention. But when the investors decided to focus on making passenger cars instead, Ford felt frustrated. The investors brought in Henry Martin Leland to take charge, which upset Ford, leading him to leave the company. Leland then went on to create Cadillac. Despite this, Ford didn't give up. He designed the Ford 999, and with the help of racer Tom Cooper and an engine built by Ford himself at his dad's Detroit shop, the car set records and won every race it entered. With the support of investors, and especially from Detroit coal dealer Alexander Young Malcolmson, Henry Ford started his third company, initially named Ford and Malcolmson and later becoming the Ford Motor Company in 1903. This time, Henry aimed to create a car that was affordable for everyday families. He promised, "I will build a car that is priced so low that any person with a decent salary will be able to afford it, while still being made from the best materials and built with quality by the best engineers." Henry brought in talented people who shared his vision, and after working on several designs, he finally succeeded with the Model A. Henry spent his next 5 years improving the Model A. Henry Ford introduced the even more important Model N. The big change was how they were made. Ford realized that having all the key parts made in one company was crucial, so he set up a machine shop in Detroit. This idea came from an assembly line in a Chicago slaughterhouse, which he applied to car production. In 1904, he built his own factory and started using the assembly line. By 1906, with his new method, production of the Model N increased nearly 5 times, reaching over 5,000 cars and making it the best-selling car in the USA. Later, Henry Ford discovered vanadium steel, which was 3 times stronger and much lighter than other steels available at the time. He used this innovative steel to build the Model T, which made cars more affordable for average-income households. When the Model T was introduced in 1908 at a price of $850, it quickly became popular. Within days, 15,000 orders were placed. The Model T's success made a significant impact on the automotive industry, helping Ford Motor Company become the largest car manufacturer in America. Over the next 10 years, even with inflation, the Model T remained a top choice for many buyers. In 1910, he built a new factory in Highland Park, Michigan, so that he could build more than a dozen Model Ts per day. This new factory's assembly line helped to drop production time from over 12 hours to 93 minutes and a half by 1913 when it was fully operational. In 1914, this factory was producing over 300,000 vehicles per year, more than all other car manufacturers combined. Yet Ford was building quite another thing altogether. As accomplished as it might well be, production of the Model T surged from 1908 to 1916, growing dramatically from about 20,000 cars a year to nearly 1 million. As a result, Ford cars became extremely common, with half of all cars in the world being Fords during that period. To meet the high demand for the Model T, Henry Ford understood that he needed to boost production even more. To keep laborers satisfied and motivated, he raised wages to $5 a day with reduced working hours. Although he initially feared these changes might hurt the company's performance, they led to a more motivated workforce, helping Ford build a successful business. Ford's innovations had a profound impact on both his company and American manufacturing as a whole. As an idealist, Henry Ford believed he could make a car affordable for every American home. He worked tirelessly to produce high quality yet inexpensive products and ensure that his workers were among the best paid in the industry. In 1919, frustrated with investor involvement, Henry Ford bought out all the shareholders, making himself the sole owner of the Ford Motor Company. He appointed his son, Edsel, as president, keeping control over the company. But this control came at a cost. Henry ignored the growing popularity of luxury cars like Chevrolet, believing that the Model T was still unbeatable. Eventually, realizing the demand for luxury cars was growing, he decided to halt production of the Model T and introduced a new car, the Model A. This car was produced in a new factory on the Rouge River in Michigan, which was the largest in the world, capable of manufacturing steel, glass, tires, and other essential components. Despite the advanced V8 engine and other innovations, the Ford Motor Company fell to third place in the automobile industry. During the Great Depression, Ford Motor Company went through some really tough times, which led to shorter work hours, layoffs, and other cutbacks. Henry Ford also faced accusations of being anti-Semitic, which he denied, but the damage to his reputation was already done. After the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, Ford quickly ramped up its efforts to support the war by producing planes, tanks, boats, and more. In 1943, Henry's son Edsel, who was running the company, sadly passed away. At 80 years old, Henry Ford stepped back in to lead the company until 1945, when he handed over control to his grandson, Henry Ford II. Henry Ford's greatness lies in the legacy he left behind. He not only created one of the most successful companies in the world, but also revolutionized manufacturing processes. Despite the challenges he faced, Ford's impact on industry and American manufacturing is unmatched. He passed away peacefully on April 7, 1947, at the age of 83. Today, the Ford Motor Company is one of the world's leading automakers, producing over 4 million vehicles each year. The company's success is built on the principles established by Henry Ford: efficient production, competitive pricing, and constant innovation. His pioneering vision of making cars accessible to everyone has transformed nations by increasing personal mobility and independence across the globe. Henry Ford's journey from a farm boy to a leader in mechanical science highlights the power of new ideas, relentless determination, and a commitment to learning. His continuous self-education and hands-on experience in mechanics were key to his success. Ford's work revolutionized the automotive industry and laid the foundation for modern manufacturing. His approach, focusing on higher wages for workers and cheaper production, has had a lasting impact on businesses worldwide. Ford's philosophy was to create high-quality products at low prices and share the benefits with workers through higher wages. This not only changed car manufacturing, but also transformed how businesses operate. Even today, when people think of innovation, quality, and reliability, they often think of the Ford brand. So next time you drive your car, remember the impact one man had on the world. Henry Ford's legacy extends beyond the half of the car brand that carried his name. It's about how you can find your passion around you, and once you start to work on it, find a way. If you made it this far, it means you liked this video. It's information and learning. To keep us motivated, please give us a like and subscribe to get more content from around the world on topics that are beneficial to you. Also, visit our newsletter website, topics page, to learn about how electric cars are the biggest lie and misleading concept in the name of saving the world. Thank you for watching.